In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the Kimber Micro 9 Nightfall, which is a 1911 style single stack 9mm pistol, against the SIG P238. This is a 380 1911 style 1911 pistol, one made by Kimber, one made by SIG. They're very similar. The Kimber will be on our right, what we're calling a silhouette target. It's a 12.5 by 18.25 target with a 6-inch, what we're calling cranium target above it. These are at 10 yards. 380 left-hand target. 9mm will be the right-hand target. Let's start with the 9mm. If you start with a 380, the 9mm will be a for 7 days. Here we go. I'll do my first 7-round magazine at the center mass of our target. Then the second magazine we'll do at the cranium zone. We'll do this for both firearms. Here we go. And I will shoot. These are guns are basically made. Yeah, we'll shoot them right-handed today. Shoot them right-handed. Oh, that's a failure to feed though. It was like nose down in the magazine. Weird. Okay. Okay, same type of failure. I don't know if we can get a good shot of that on the camera. I'm going to move this camera for a moment. You may just need to give this firearm a shot of Rem oil. I brought it out of the safe and tossed it in my bag, and I don't even remember the last time we shot it. Never mind. Hit it with some oil. Here we go. Okay, all of our on the target. When we stop the cameras, we'll give this firearm a shot of Rem oil. Then we'll load 2 fresh magazines, and we'll see if we have that same failure again. Let's move on to our P238 left-hand target. Okay, first 7 are in the orange, we call the bullseye zone. 7 is in the 9 ring. With our 9mm, all for the first 7 are in the 9 ring or better. All 7 here on the cranium. So let's see if we can duplicate that with the 380. Call those comparable groups when here. Being micro compact single stack firearms that are 1911 style, both the SIG P238 and the Kimber Micro 9 Nightfall are very similar in size, though besides the difference in 9mm versus 380 ACP, There are some differences in the height and the width and the length of these firearms. Besides being 9mm, the Micro 9 Nightfall does have the height and length advantage in terms of being the larger firearm, though interestingly enough, it is slightly narrower on paper. Both firearms are close enough in weight that we're going to call them pretty much the same, though there is also a very obvious difference in barrel length, 2.7 inches on our 380 compared to 3.15 inches on our 9mm. Some notable features of the Nightfall version of the Micro 9 compared to other editions is the Nightfall version, besides being all black, originally came with the Hogue grip style grips on it. It also came with a nice set of Ameriglow night sights. The P238 that we are shooting today came to us with the Hogue grips also attached, which is one reason we thought this would be a fun comparison. The sights on our P238 are the stock Siglite night sights, and as you can see here, they don't stand out in the full bright daytime light like the sights on our Nightfall do. One other interesting difference here is between the Kimber Micro 380 on the right and the Micro 9 on the left, you can see that the Micro 9 has a larger, more over-the-top open ejection port between the two firearms, as well as a loaded chamber indicator, while the Micro 9 has the wider ejection port compared to the Micro 380, compared to our SIG P238, and the SIG has a much wider ejection port extending the full width of the firearm. There are some other differences that I would call the Kimber versus SIG stylings between these firearms, but by and large, and for the most part, the major difference between these two firearms is 9mm versus 380, the energy and the recoil that entails. Let's see a little more of these firearms in action at the range before we get into our closing thoughts on those differences. All right, we have cleaned our magazines. I have given the Micro 9 a shot of the ballast oil. We'll see if that helps it out. Our first two magazines today were with the CCI Blazer 115 grain full metal jacket. I only have 6 more of those left. They are in this magazine. The first the MagTech 115 grain full metal jacket. Second magazine is loaded with MagTech. Let's do another magazine each at the torso zone, then the cranium zone, this time left-handed. Here we go. Ooh, that was terrible. Okay, looks like the gun just needed a little shot of oil. I shot that one much better right-handed versus left-handed. Right-handed, all my shots were in the 9 ring. Left-handed, my shots are a little lower to the right in sort of the 7-8 ring area. Let's see if I can get them on target in the cranium zone. Here we go. Maybe only a few hits. Hard to tell with how the hits are sort of stacking up. I'd say we'll review target cam later, but that's not an option today. Let's see how our P238 is left-handed. Same thing. 1 magazine center mass, 1 magazine at the cranium zone. Okay, in similar fashion, right-handed, all of my shots were in the 9 ring. Left-handed, my shots are a little low right, more in the 7 to 8 ring. Let's see if we can hit the cranium zone. Here we go. Well, maybe one on the target. The rest of them, I think, are at the bottom right corner of our target. Okay, Kimber. And Sig. Relatively short sample size today. At least two things I thought were obvious. One, both firearms certainly capable of putting hits on target at self-defense ranges for their intended self-defense uses. We did see two failures with the Kimber, probably on the second shot through each magazine, if I remember correctly. And both of them, it sort of was a nose down. I tried to get a shot of it on camera. I don't blame that on the ammo or the firearm. That's a me error there. That firearm was super dry, like Sahara Desert dry. I should have shot it down with some Barrist oil or Rem oil or something before loading it up here today. And so that one's on me. That's not necessarily, or not at all, a Kimber or an ammo problem. As we saw, once I shot that gun down with some oil, it was right back in action functioning just like it always did, which is very reliable. Just goes to show you that any gun, when not properly maintained, can turn into a fail boat. Accuracy today, I'm calling things a wash. Capacity with the magazines that I had access to, both having a 7+1 capacity is a wash. Really the biggest difference today is in 9mm versus 380, and the more recoil and the more energy that entails. Now with 9mm, obviously you deal with a little more recoil, but you have a round that's heavier, moving faster, putting more energy, imparting more energy onto the target it impacts. With the 380, you have less recoil, which for some shooters is going to be an easier shooting caliber and firearm, and with less recoil might even translate to better accuracy on following up shots. With both firearms putting what I'm calling comparable groups on paper today, really I think the biggest difference in my experience again is going to be that 9mm versus 380 difference. Similar holes in paper, so can you handle the recoil? And if you can, you're going to gravitate more towards the 9mm version. Whereas if you can't handle the recoil, or you just don't like the recoil of a Micro 9 pistol, you're probably going to gravitate towards the 380 version. Well, anyway, that's probably a simple enough conclusion for today's video. If you enjoyed the presentation today, like the video, share it with your friends and family. Those things help the channel greatly. If you didn't enjoy the presentation today, let us know why, or sleep tonight knowing Fred is judging you. If you're a cat person, Fred is also judging you. Cat person or dog person, we're glad you made it this far. Thanks for watching, and as always, have a good day.